Okay, I'd like to now call on Rabbi Danny Myers, Rabbi Twersky's son-in-law, to give Divrei Chizuk, a history on Rabbi Twersky.
First, I just want to be a big yashkar to Phil for organizing everything. Phil for organizing all this, and really, we always say what a zechus it was in Akila for 20 years to have Sabashia, Rabbi Twersky with us. But I want to thank the Akila also for hosting and making the Twerskys and Chaim and Yehuda and all the grandchildren, great children, such a wonderful, warm place for them as well. So the Akaras Tov goes both ways. And of course, to my mother-in-law, just as Chaim said so eloquently, just gave them 23 years of amazing life. So I want to thank everyone. Someone sent me to shul the following. Right? Twersky was someone carrying around one of the holiest names in Jewish history. The name of the holy tzaddik from Avta. The Avta was referred to as the Ohev Yisrael because of the sefer he wrote and the attitude he had. I have now seen words of mourning from Mishpacha magazine, which is yeshivish, Pardes in Jerusalem, Reform, YCT, which is Modern Orthodox, the Pittsburgh Post Gazette Non-Jews, Chabad, Yahoo News, Hamodia, The Forward, Ynet, and it goes on, all with love and admiration for the giant he was. He was truly a master of Avos Chinam and bridged so many worlds. What will be without him? I just don't know. People in my kahila ask me shilas. I wish I had answers. I try to answer shilas as much as I can. I have no answer. I'm a little biased to say that he's irreplaceable, but he's irreplaceable. The combination, the synthesis that he brought is unparalleled. Different specialties in the world of addiction and Torah, it's unparalleled. So all we could do, I can't answer the question what we do without him. I could just try to bring a few things that maybe people didn't know about him, and the more we can emulate, then that's what we could do without him. Just try to emulate him in any way we can. I remember a couple summers back, he criticized me. He rebuked me. Why? He said, it was an early Shabbos, and the halacha is that you are supposed to start the meal by a certain time before. If you're going to make early Shabbos, it has to be way before the Zman of Shema. And by the time we got home from shul, it was running a little bit late. I said, we have a problem starting the meal now because it's really late. So I said, you know what? We're going to go right to Kiddush. And then we're going to go have the meal, start the bread, break bread, and then we'll do Shalom Aleichem, Eishes Chayil. And so Bashir said to me, I don't remember if Yehuda, I know Yehuda's listening, I don't know if you were there or not. He said, Danny, when you get dressed, you put your shirt on first or your undershirt? I said, if I'm not mistaken, it's early in the morning. I give shir 5:30 in the morning. I don't always remember, but I think I put my shirt on, then my undershirt. So that's good, Danny. And he said, what about your shoes? You put your shoes on first or your socks? I said, Sapashi, I think I put on my shoes, then I put on my socks. So that's very good. He said, well, guess what? With a twinkle in his eye, he said, well, guess what? On Shabbos night, we have Shalom Aleichem, we have Eishes Chayil, then we have Kiddush, then we have a Motzi. That's the order. With a twinkle in his eye. Is he saying that, you don't have to care about halacha and starting a suud in the right zman? Of course he can. He's very makpid on zmanim. Some chasidim, when it comes to zmanim, different approaches, he was very makpid on his zman. What he's saying is, there's a Mesorah here and you keep it. So if you're running late, just don't run late. And make sure you start the Suda early enough that you can have Shalom Aleichem, Eishes Chayil, everything, and get the Zman in. But you don't just go ahead in a cavalier way, just push it off. So you'll say, okay, he was a real stalwart support of our Mesorah. And he kept his lavush. And his grandchildren proudly are walking, keeping the Hasidic lavush. But there's something very important to know. Yes, he was a stalwart support of our Mesorah. But there's a few different ways. A person could be a support of our Mesorah and maintain Chadash Asa Min HaTorah. You can't do anything new. You can't do anything different. Whatever we did 100 years ago, 500 years ago, that's what we do. And sometimes they're wrong. When it comes to technical halacha, you're right. You have to be anchored in halacha. But there's certain times that a new situation doesn't mean the change in halacha, chas v'shalom, but some new approaches that weren't embraced earlier. And some people are stuck. We didn't do this. We're not going to do this. And others could say, I'm going to keep a hold on the Mesorah. But there's certain parts that this should be part of our Mesorah in this generation. Examples. We had this little Snoopy before. Taking Charles Schultz and bring him into Mesorah? You're going to combine that with your Hasidic Mesorah? The answer is yes. And Baruch Hashem Zocha. That tie he was wearing. Baruch Hashem. I'm Zocha to wear his tie. And it is a Zochus. That's keeping to the Mesorah, but bringing new things into it. That synthesis is challenging. And to go ahead and get into this 12 steps program. We married Bubby 23 years ago. 23 years ago, he married Bubby. And a few weeks in, he said, Danny, you should go to the 12 steps program. I said, I smell my breath. I said, Sabashi, I'm a little insulted. What are you saying? I walked a straight line. I proved I was sober. What are you saying, Sabashi? He says, go. You'll see just what I mean. I was teaching in the 5 towns in those days. I was teaching in the 5 towns, and I was a Rebbe in the 9th grade. I didn't want to go in the 5 towns. I didn't think the principal, the Rosh Yeshiva, would be very happy if his 9th grade Rebbe, and 8th grade, everyone applies to go into the 9th grade. So the 9th grade Rebbe is very important. Didn't think it was a good idea to go to a meeting locally, but we found a meeting in Long Beach, 25 minutes away, and I went there. Obviously, the first thing when I got in, I saw someone from the 5 towns. So what are you going to do? Hashem has his sense of humor. And what happens? I go in there. And I see, wow, this person gets up. Hi, I'm John. I'm an alcoholic. I haven't taken one drink yet today. And it was 8 in the morning. And then another one talks about his life story. And they know themselves better than any of us know ourselves. They know their demons inside of themselves. We talk about growth. We talk about Musar, and Saba Shia found a way to see internal growth, introspection more than many, many holy Jews, where these people, these addicts, have a different approach if they're able to get a handle on it. Now that's a person, Saba Shia, who's connected to the Mesorah, but is ready to see some new things that can be incorporated into the Mesorah without uprooting the Mesorah. It's huge. It's huge. And then he sees his abuse in the Jewish community. So that's not something typically written about. And that could be dangerous. And there were threats on his life. But once again, he's bringing the ideology of the Mesorah, which may be laying underneath the surface, the love of mankind, the love of fellow Jew, defending the poor woman with no voice. That's our Mesorah. And understanding yourself better than anyone else, that's our Mesorah. And he found ways from sources outside of our Mesorah to enhance our Mesorah. Not too many people can do that. And I'll give one last example. A few months ago, Yom Kippur. He says, Danny, I was zocheh to discuss halachic shaylas with him over the years. And some were fun, some were not. In Muncie, 23 years ago, he had a garbage. It was called the Danny garbage. Why was it called the Danny garbage? Because there's garbages that pull in and out. Not so simple on Shabbos that you can move them. This, and I mentioned something, maybe look into it. He said, nah, it's all right. And he spoke to his posek, and he said, yeah, it's not simple. Shita's this way, that. It's not simple that you could move those garbages on Shabbos. So he had a special garbage. On Shabbos, he put out that it wasn't under the cabinet. He had to move in and out. He called it the daddy garbage. And we always joked about it. So we had a great 23 years of discussing halachas together. One of the last serious shilas was Yom Kippur. He said, Danny, what do you think? What do you think about hooking me up intravenous before Yom Kippur? Because the doctor said I can't fast. First time in 80 years not to fast on Yom Kippur. It was painful. I said, Sabashia, the poskim, they don't permit it. To go ahead and cause a wound on Yom Kippur, for sure you can't put it in. But even before Yom Kippur, you can. Rav Moshe says, you're not chayiv in fasting. You don't have a chiv to make yourself chayiv in fasting, and then to go ahead and put it in, it's a chabal, it's a wound, who knows what it's going to do. The only type of heta may be if a person's hooked up already for weeks, the doctor says, I can pull it out already before Yom Kippur, you don't need any more, and you say, hey doc, can I keep it in one more day? Maybe there's room in the poskim to play around, but otherwise not. So I thought he was going to be so distraught with my answer. He said, okay, that's someone who loves the Mesorah. Sabashi is not fixated on fasting on Yom Kippur. What's he fixated on? Keeping halacha. Now, what does halacha say now? To drink a little bit every hour. That's what it says. It doesn't say to fast. For 89 years, it said to fast. For his 90th year, it said not to fast. And that's what the love of a Mesorah is. To be connected to Hashem's ratzon. Not to get fixated on certain things. I have to do this action. No, I have to do halacha. I have to keep ratzon Hashem. And he did, and he ate, and he drank a little bit on that for on Yom Kippur. That's what you do. That was what's on Hashem. So, to the wonderful person who wrote to me, what are we going to do now? Sabashi is gone. I have no answer what we're going to do. But all we could do is try to reflect. It's all over the world now, his deeds, his actions. And I think if we could go and have that synthesis of a stalwart in our Mesorah, but yet at the same time, to take external things outside of our Mesorah, which represents ideas from our Mesorah. The 12 steps, tcheles, whatever it was. I'm not saying which word tcheles now. I'm just saying his willingness to explore something which wasn't, quote, traditional, but it's very traditional. To be able to look outside in the world, see what's going on, and see how I could become a better person according to the ideology of our Mesorah, anchored on our Mesorah, but take the best that was said and done by mankind. That godless, somehow he was a meteor that just flew through our lives and ideas, and my life, 23 years, and the Kehila's life for 19 years. It was a gift. We have to embrace it. And when things are going tough in our lives and we're feeling down and just ready to throw in the towel, just think Sabashia, pick up one of his 90 books, get the inspiration, and it will be not just a tremendous cover to Sabashia. It will just really be a step forward in carrying on the beautiful Mesorah that he perpetuated and that he created. His memory should always be for blessing and always an inspiration for all of us.
Rabbi Maz, thank you. Speaking all our feelings, and we all feel the same way.